Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video I wanted to be as informative as possible with my experience thus far with being now 6 months pregnant and my training routine. I will mention slightly about my nutrition as well, but my last video was like a full day of eating, full day of training, so I touched on things in that. More so I kind of touched on like the kind of struggles that I've kind of had here and there, even though my experience has been overall positive. We obviously have not so positive days. Also, I'm sitting on a Swiss ball, so if I am like bobbing around, that is why. Or if you hear like noises, that's why. And also my neighbour's getting their whole garden bulldozed right now, so we might be a little bit noisy. But if you guys are brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and please also like this video as well. I'm trying to incorporate this pregnancy experience into my content as much as possible without it like completely taking over and being really unrelatable to a lot of you that have followed me for so long. So thank you guys for watching, and we're going to try and crack on with this. I say this every single video, everything. I'm like, oh, I'll try to do this in 10 minutes and it's like 40 minutes later. But I do want to try and be concise and get my point across, give you guys as much information as possible but not blab too much, which is my problem. So like I said, I will quickly give you my background. So I have everything written on my phone that I wanted to go over that will hopefully keep me keeping this video within like 15 minutes. But essentially I am 29 years old. I am currently just over just starting 6 months pregnant. It's 26 and a half weeks. By the way, every time I ask Alexa, when does it, oh no, she's going to start. Anytime I ask her a question or you Google it, like it kind of varies slightly as to when certain months start or certain trimesters start. I don't know why, but it does. So we are at 26 and a half weeks. We are 6 months pregnant. We're feeling good. We're feeling happy. We're feeling positive. We have a lot of hiccups and out of breathness, which will come across in this video, FYI. But I have also been training in the gym for 5 or 6 years now. I do predominantly weight training. I don't really focus on cardio at all. I am very much focused on weight training. I definitely have a kind of smaller build. So for me, you know, I've never really had a bum. My background was actually a swimmer, so I did actually have like some kind of muscle mass in terms of like upper body. I was a swimmer for 10 years until I was like 18 years old. And then, you know, there's a few years of in between that and starting the gym of not really knowing what we're doing. So I have now been in the gym for about probably 6 years and training consistently and trying to just build lean muscle mass on top of my body and keeping my body fat relatively low at the same time. So that's kind of my background. I train currently 4 times a week, which is what I was doing before I got pregnant. Was 4 times per week. We do 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, and that is the workout split that's also on my app as well. So if you guys don't know, I have a fitness app. It's the first link in the description. We still have 30% off. If you want to check it out, then go ahead and do so. We have all kinds of workout plans on there. 5 days a week, 4 days a week, beginner's guide 3 days a week, home workout variation, the whole lot. So go and check it out if you're interested. But yes, so I have been training for 5 or 6 years. I have been vegan for 10 years. 10 years next month, which is mad. Like, what age am I? If I'm nearly 30, a third of my life has been spent being vegan, so that's a long time. That's a long time. So yeah, so my experience going from someone who would regard herself as fit and healthy, you know, my job is to create fitness content and healthy content online, and has been as well for like the past 5 years. So going from that to someone who is now pregnant, I will not say the term fallen pregnant because fallen sounds negative and as if you are going downwards and it's like a, oh no, you're pregnant, you're now an invalid. Yes, so for someone who is now 6 months pregnant and only recently started to feel the effects of that, and noticing where changes having to be made. My experience though thus far of speaking with like health professionals and doctors, midwives, I don't even know what an OBGYN is, that's an American term, gynecologists, never seen one, things like that. My experience within the UK has been that I have seen a midwife twice. I met with a midwife on around 10 weeks. We had a scan at 8 weeks, met a midwife at 10 weeks, had another scan at 13 weeks, and then we did the whole like private gender scan thing at 16 weeks, and then had our 20-week scan, like our growth scan, gender scan, and then we saw the midwife again at 22 weeks, I believe. So I've literally had I think we've had 4 scans total. Well, other than that, I have seen nobody else. There's been no, I haven't spoken to my doctor. But I originally did when I originally phoned up and was like, oh, I am pregnant. Like, I need to start the process of whatever I'm supposed to start. I didn't even speak to a doctor actually. You speak to a receptionist at the doctor who gives you the contacts for the midwives essentially. So I have literally not spoken to a doctor, and I think that's actually, well, must be normal because I'm in the UK and that's just what's been happening. So when I obviously spoke to my midwife, I was going through the original chat with her and stuff, you know, I was like, oh, like a weight train, is that fine? She's like, yeah, you have no, touch wood, you have no complications, no risk factors, no issues as to why you shouldn't continue. So I want to start off, I'm saying start off, it's like 7 minutes in, by saying that I am so grateful that I have been able to continue my fitness journey as pretty normal. Like, I know a lot of people don't have that, and I honestly would have been quite devastated if I couldn't continue my regular routine because I had some kind of like issues with my pregnancy. Now, of course, like it just depends on what it is that you're into and what it is you're doing, what your routine is. You know, some people won't be fussed by bed rest, or some people won't be fussed by the fact that they can't work out because they don't regularly work out anyway. But if you're someone who is used to working out, used to being active, used to eating healthy, and your pregnancy has totally thrown you off and you can't do any of that, and you're struggling with it, like, I will feel for you, because I would personally really struggle with that. So hats off to you if you're trudging on through. But I am very grateful that I am able to continue on my journey as normal. This is getting awfully bright, there we go. Continue on my journey as normal. So this video I wanted to kind of chat about the changes that I have made, kind of myth busting a wee bit, and yeah, talk you through that. So obviously your first port of call, if you are someone, so I'm going to talk about this from someone who is, say you are someone that regularly exercises, you have a fitness routine. If you are in the same boat as me, i.e. I was, touch wood, complication free, low risk, no issues or concerns, I was told continue doing what you've been doing, unless you're like, there's obvious sports that you avoid, like contact sports and things like that, but in terms of going to the gym and lifting weights, continue on doing what you've always been doing. And that was kind of it. That's kind of all that I have been told or advised, and for me that was fine at the start. I was like, cool, I'll just continue on doing what I'm doing. But as time has went on, I've kind of thought, there's some modifications that have to be made here. There's some changes I need to make, and I am now the person that's going to have to figure out what they are. So I am a qualified personal trainer, hence why I have a fitness app. But I also decided to do the further qualification that was the prenatal and pregnancy fitness program, and that's great. And it's basic level knowledge of this is what you would need to do if you are pregnant and you're healthy, continuing on your like journey as kind of normal without any complications. However, it's such base level knowledge that I have had to obviously like research more, look into things more myself, obviously go off your own experiences and how you're feeling, and really just listen to your body as well. So there's a lot more factors involved than just like just lifting the weights, you know, there's a lot more to it. So you might, you know, first port of call, if you are someone who does regularly work out, regularly go to the gym, and you want to keep up your routine whilst pregnant, make sure you obviously check with your health professional first. Don't just go off what people on YouTube are doing. Like, don't just be like, oh, she's doing it so I can do it. Make sure you check with your health professional, whoever that is in your country or area. make sure you're cleared to exercise or continue doing what you're doing or anything like that. And then from there, if you need further like advice and help, then of course look at people either that are specialised in that area, you know, like a personal trainer who's maybe really specialised in that area, or people online that you know that really know what they're talking about type of thing. So keep that in mind. So there are so many myths, and I've already seen it start on my social media. Thankfully thus far it's just been the odd comment, magpie, the odd comment here and there, like you can't do this when you're pregnant, you shouldn't lift when you're pregnant, is this safe to do when you're pregnant? So whilst I understand that people can be mean, I also understand that a lot of people are just misinformed, and it's even people in my everyday life, like my family might be like, oh, are you still going to the gym? Are you okay to be doing that? Don't get me wrong, my family and friends approach it in a much more friendly way. They're like, oh, can you do that? It's more of a question rather than, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, and that's totally fine. People who don't have the knowledge in this area aren't going to know whether you can or cannot do it. So like I said, always check with the health professional first. Always, 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 always. Okay, so going back to the gym, because that is what I do and that is my training style. Areas to think about, which I didn't have to think about until just a couple of weeks ago. So like I said, my training has pretty much stayed the same. I train 4 times a week, 2 upper body days, 2 lower body days, and I'm going to show you like snippets of my workouts and talk you through what I have been doing and modifications and changes that have only really came into play the last couple of months, and they've only the last couple of weeks, and they've only come into play because I have now developed my bump, and you feel the effects of that quite frankly. So things to consider: A, you now have a belly. Your centre of gravity is different, it's not the same, okay? If you require to be using some assistance in some exercises, like for example, you might struggle to lunge because you're not balanced the way you used to be balanced. You might struggle to do like a step up or single leg exercises, things like that. If you're trying to do like pistol squats or anything, then there's absolutely no problem with you using bands to hold yourself up. There's absolutely no problem holding a wall to do things, or even like having assistance of your partner or a friend or a person if you want to continue doing certain exercises but you just feel like you're a bit, basically how I feel on this ball right now, just very wobbly. Part 2, there is a hormone called relaxin that is pumping through your body that basically, whilst it doesn't relax your mind, because you're constantly thinking, hello, are you okay in there, like move around, do something, it relaxes like your ligaments and muscles and things like that. So that also comes into play and is something to keep in mind as well when you are obviously lifting weights. I think one of the concerns I think people probably have is that you shouldn't weight lift because you now have a belly. What if you hit your belly, or what if you like bump it or bang it or anything like that? So that's why a few exercises have been modified throughout my workout routine, and I'll tell you what those are now. So starting off with leg day. I have 2 leg days, but I'll just kind of roughly talk through like leg exercises in general. Personally, I stopped squatting the first trimester. Just wasn't feeling it. I felt like it was too much intensity for my like lower back, and it was causing me cramps and stuff like that, and I just thought the first trimester is a very sensitive time. I reduced my squatting and didn't do it for like the first 12 weeks. I am back to squatting now, and the weight has slightly dropped, and it's just more so because you do obviously feel squats in your lower back, you do feel them in your core, and I'm not trying to put too much pressure on my core, obviously. So squats have been reintroduced, but they are at a lower weight, just to reduce that lower back and core pressure. Hip thrusts I have not done the entire time, and again, it's not that you can, it's actually a personal preference. It was the placement of the bar for me, didn't like it, didn't enjoy the pelvic pressure of it obviously, and now with like a bump, it's just awkward and it's uncomfortable, and it's just not suitable for my workout plan right now personally. And like I said, that's a personal preference, and that's me going off of listening to my body and how I'm actually feeling within myself, more so than you can't do this, because there's plenty of people that do still hip thrust, there's plenty of people that still heavy squat, but it's very much about listening to your own body and seeing what you feel like is comfortable and not comfortable. So exercises we are doing squats, just at a lower intensity. We are still doing RDLs. However, I am thinking I'm going to be swapping it to dumbbells, just because I am starting to feel it in my lower back slightly. So there's that. But we're doing RDLs, we're doing split leg lunges, we are doing like cable kickbacks, leg press machine, leg extension machines, hamstring curl machines, the seated version, not the lying down on your belly version. What else are we doing for legs? Honestly, I feel like my workouts are pretty repetitive right now, but that's because I'm finding what I'm actually enjoying and what feels good, and yeah, going from there. Upper body days, we're going to split them into two. So my favourite day to train is back, and my combination of upper body is back and chest. So for back day, we are not doing barbell bent over rows, which actually is something I've not done in a very long time anyway. I don't really like the exercise. Obvious reasons, you pull the bar towards your belly. I don't want to bang my belly with the barbell. So for that, I've swapped to do either cable rows, single arm dumbbell rows, like wide grip rows. There's so many variations, machine rows. There's so many different things that you can do. I have stopped doing pull-ups, and again, do you have to? Is it a personal preference? For me, it was personal preference. Pull-ups were something that engaged my core and my abs far too much that, no. I just took them out of my workout routine, and I've taken them out completely. So I'm not even doing assisted, banded, any form of a pull-up, no. And it was funny because the other day I was like, oh, I really feel like just going in and trying to smash out pull-ups, but it's just not the time of life to be smashing out pull-ups. So there's that. Chest wise, so other than those two modifications for back, I haven't modified my back workouts. Straight arm pull downs are something I have dropped the weight in if I do include them in my workout, just because again they do start to engage your core, and we are trying to avoid crunching our abs, and we'll get into that at the end of the video. Chest wise, again, most things have been the same. However, modifications on chest day are that I am not doing flat bench press, and I'm not doing flat bench press just because, well, being flat on your back is so uncomfortable. When you're pregnant, you're not supposed to sleep on your back as of like the end of the second and the start of the third trimester. It just reduces oxygen flow to the placenta, and you don't want that. So basically, I am avoiding being completely flat on my back. So the only exercise I really feel like that was the case for was a bench press. So I have taken out regular flat bench press, but I will do either an incline barbell bench press, totally fine to do, or I will do dumbbells. And I actually prefer doing dumbbells personally for chest. So I'm going to actually include a video clip here of Adam having to pass me the dumbbells, because, quick disclaimer here, I am trying to avoid crunching my abs whilst pregnant, because that can obviously lead to an increase in your ab separation, and we don't want that. You know, obviously your abs are going to separate whether you like it or not. They are going to separate, but we're trying to reduce the degree as to which they're doing that. I think it's called diastasis recti. I don't know the exact terminology, but basically it's an ab separation, and it's caused from crunching your abs when you're pregnant. Your core cannot handle the pressure. Basically the tissue in the middle starts to protrude and looks like it's coning or doming, which then leads to your abs further separating, and it's just a heck of a lot more work postpartum to get them to come back together. So we're trying to avoid any form of crunching, hence why we're not training abs, and as a result, it's what I noticed when I was trying to do incline dumbbells. So I've been doing the same way. I've been working with like 18 or 20 kilo dumbbells, and normally you have them on your legs and you'll throw them back and you'll lie back with them, and then you'll press them. And I did this last week with 18 kilo dumbbells, and as I did it, I went down and I was like, oh, I have just decline crunched 36 kilo. And then after I finished the set, I came up with them as well, as I've just crunched up now with 36 kilo, and I felt it. you know, I felt it and I thought, that's not my intention here. So now, and this is the way I get in and out of bed, this is the way if I have to lie down for any reason, this is how I do it. I will sit down, I will turn on my side, lie on my side, and then roll onto my back to avoid using my abs to like crunch myself up and down. This looks hilarious, right? It looks so stupid, but it's what you've got to do. So I've been doing that at the gym now for just this specific exercise. So I've been lying down and then Adam passes me the dumbbells, then when I'm finished he takes them off me. It's very dramatic, and the thing is, maybe not everyone in my gym even knows I'm pregnant because I wear baggy t-shirts sometimes, and they must be like, what is she doing? Like, why? Who is this dumbbell princess over here that needs to be rolling around and past her dumbbells? But anyway, there's that. So then other chest exercises, you know, I'm doing the pec deck machine, I'm doing cable flies, even a machine press. I probably do 2 chest exercises per workout because it's not really my main focus. It's my back is my main focus. And then moving on, we have our shoulders and arm day. These hiccups are driving me crazy. Shoulders and arm day. So with shoulders, the only thing we are avoiding with shoulders is a standing military press, and even more so lately is a seated barbell military press. So I've just avoided doing standing military press because again, it's too much pressure on my lower back and also on my core as well, and there's just no need to do it when there's so many other exercises. Essentially what I've been doing, for those that maybe aren't like educated in how to adapt your workouts, you basically do an exercise to work a specific muscle, or multiple if it's a compound exercise. If you are then having to replace that exercise, people freak out. They're like, oh, I don't know what to replace it with. Think about, what are you trying to work right now? So a standing military press, for example, is predominantly working your anterior delts, i.e. the front of your shoulder. What other exercises work the front of your shoulder? We have a seated dumbbell press, we have a machine press, we have front raises, single arm shoulder press. Like, there's so many variations. So for me, shoulders has been predominantly a seated dumbbell shoulder press with dumbbells, obviously. Otherwise it has been a machine press, and I've also been doing front raises with dumbbells or cables as well. So then obviously things like lateral raises are absolutely fine, whether that's dumbbells or cables. And rear delts, you know, it's just cable work mostly for me. I wouldn't do the lying down on your stomach like rear delts with dumbbells. I just focus on using cables. I've always preferred using cables for rear delts anyway. I just feel like I feel it better. And then arms, there's not really much you can't do for arms. So overall there hasn't been much in terms of what I can't do. It's maybe just modifying slight exercises. Like I said, hip thrust, I just wasn't feeling it. Squats, I've just reduced the weight. Pull-ups are a no-go just because of the core engagement. Flat bench press, again, too much core engagement. Straight arm pull downs, again, just lowering the weight because it's too much core engagement. And then things like overhead military press was just, again, lower back and core engagement. So my workouts, other than that, have been pretty normal. The intensity's been probably there most of the time as well. My weights have been pretty much the same as well, which has been good. Now don't get me wrong, as much as this is all positive and great and I can go to the gym and work out as normal, there have been days that have been so difficult and it's just comes part and parcel with it. So, and I always want to mention that as well, like I did in my last video of my full day of eating and training. 80% of the time, 85% of the time, I'm feeling good, my energy's there, my mood's there, my appetite's there, my training's good, all the rest of it. But there's some days I wake up and I am like, I am miserable today, I am uncomfortable, I am bloated, I'm sad, I'm emotional, I am not hungry, or all I want to do is maybe just eat a pizza and then nothing else, like, or just 4 magnums, or I've had a rotten sleep, or there's so many different things that come into play. And keep that in mind. Whether you're pregnant or not, you have up days and down days, and they're absolutely okay to factor into your life. It doesn't make you fall off the bandwagon or doesn't set you back. Nobody has a 100% track record of having amazing workouts every single day of their life, eating perfect every single day of their life. It just doesn't work like that. From about the 6-month mark is where we're going to really focus on adding in our walking doing our stretching every day, and also our core work a few times a week, just to really focus on the actual pregnancy aspect of this training. So obviously going to the gym, continuing as normal is absolutely amazing, and it's just for my mental health, it's for my physical health and all the rest of it, but it's not necessarily training for pregnancy, it's not training for labour and delivery, and it's not training for well, it's training for postpartum, I guess, but I do want to get way more educated in pregnancy training and specifics to what you should be doing to help your body through this time, because it is the biggest change and the biggest journey that my body is going to go through in my entire life. Like, I am never, touch wood, going to go through anything quite like this in my life, and I want to make sure I'm as informed as I can possibly be, bring the information to you guys as well. Like I said, I have done the basic level 3 prenatal qualification. That's not enough for me. I want way more than that, so I can bring it to my app, bring it to my YouTube channel, bring it to my social media, and give you like the studies and the information and proper education behind pregnancy training and hopefully postpartum recovery and things like that as well. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. It's longer than I expected, as usual. Let me know if any of you guys are pregnant down below, if you are or have been pregnant, or you're planning to get pregnant soon, or just if you found this video helpful in any way whatsoever. Don't forget to check out my app if you are interested. We are going to be bringing out a pregnancy plan within the next 6 weeks, hopefully, when I have included all the knowledge I want to include in it. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.